Okay. Now, continuing. 8 rules for motorcycle riding, or even car driving or bicycle riding. That kind of apply as well. So up to rule number 2. My rule number 2, developed over many years in riding. These sort of came about from my experiences and me observing risks. The second rule is relative distance. So the first rule was relative speed, right? So speed's got to be relative to what's around you. But the second one is distance. So distance is important, because if you haven't got the right distance, you are going to be hitting something. If you got the wrong distance, you're putting yourself at risk. Like getting past those cars just there. If I had judged the wrong distance between the cars, I would have hit that guy's mirror. So, or let's say the car moves a bit while I'm going past the car, and I haven't allowed any distance at all as I go between the car, then I'd be buggered. So you see here, distance, judging distance. Also, while I'm doing number 2, distance, I'm keeping speed, relative speed in mind. So in these scenarios, this guy looks like he might go left, so I've got to keep distance. You see that car? He might have gone into this lane and not have seen me because I'm in this blind spot. So I'm keeping distance away from this car, away from that car. I'm keeping my speed relative to that's compared to my things around me. This is important. And I found myself recently not doing the distance thing. And there were a couple of scenarios where I thought, geez, I was a bit close to that one. If that car had moved or changed their mind or something, I'd be buggered. Ooh, nice Tesla. I like those white interiors and things. I don't know how easy they are to keep clean. No kids with ice creams, that's for sure. And all that sort of stuff. So distance. Keep distance away. Be prepared for any opening doors and things. Any kids or dogs jumping out windows or balls. You never know these days. Almost anything happens in traffic. It's unbelievable. So yeah, it's like walking through a crowded area with your arms open wide, giving yourself a bit of distance so you don't hit people. Same thing with a motorbike. You've kind of going around with these imaginary extended arms, giving yourself plenty of distance between stuff. Oh, here's a lot of distance. Look at all the distance I got here. So I can change my relative speed now. But now my distance is closing in. I've got to change my speed. Trying to keep distance again. Keep distance from this car. Oh, here's a gap, so I can keep a nice middle distance between both of them there. Here's a nice good gap, look at that. There's some nice distance. Now I've got to watch my speed because I'm getting close to stuff, so relative to that. Now, distance, keep it middle from both sides. Good, see? Well done, Blade. Good one. And now I'm getting closer, my distance is getting shorter. Trucks keep more distance. Only be going past trucks when you see a full-on complete gap. So there's no complete gap there, so I wasn't going to go past, but now see, stopped because, geez, you don't want to get caught between the trays or the tyres. So only when they're stopped, but only go through if you can see a path all the way. I don't see a path all the way there because, oh, see, he's letting me. Now I see a path all the way. Now I can go through. Cheers, mate. And that's okay. But see, if I hadn't seen a path all the way, my distance between those vehicles would be pretty buggered. I might get stuck halfway along the truck. Then what if the truck starts and he starts turning or something, turning into the other car? I'm right there. I'd be buggered. So I guess with distance, make sure you can clear the vehicle, I guess is what I'm saying. So you can get your distance away from the vehicle. If you can't get your distance away from the vehicle, don't start it. It's like this car here. If I was going to pass this car, I wouldn't go and get stuck between this car and another car. I'd only go through if I can see a way through all the way, and then I can have distance around me from all the vehicles. That's the only time I would do it. This is actually a good example for rule number 2, distance, because it's heavy traffic. But you know, distance applies also out on the highway. Keep your distance from trees, edges, then you got to consider your speed relative to what's around you, right? Same thing applies there. And out in the country, you're probably going faster, so you need more distance. Your relative speed, you know, you need more distance because of your speed, you see. So distance from that car, distance from the edge, I'm in the middle, I'm controlling my speed relative to what's around me. Distance from everyone, distance from this truck, from these lights. There's another rule I've got to tell you about, which I just applied there, but that'll come later. Well, let's just stick to distance now. Now these cars are all getting their distance shorter between each other. They're trying to squeeze in. I'm going to go distance. Now, you're not supposed to go between the car and the curb, but technically he's moving over, so I kind of got a bit of a lane. But again, you can only do it if you can maintain your distance the whole way. There's a truck behind me. I'm only going to get in front of him if there's enough distance. I don't want to have the truck have to stop quickly on me. Don't upset trucks. Give yourself more distance between you and trucks. Don't piss them off. You'll lose. They're much bigger and heavier. So stay away. So here I'll keep my distance in the middle, away from everything. Oh, he's getting closer. Now I've got to keep my distance. Now there's a gap and there's distance. Oh, and by the way, if you see a gap and you're going to take it, you know, consider a good speed to take it that's safe, but also get out. Don't be dawdling in that gap. You'd be in trouble then. See here, I'm waiting for enough distance between the truck. Yeah, that was good. And I think I can get through these cars with no worries. Now, because everyone's stopped too, there's no need to rush. So you'll find that if you're filtering and you get to some tight spots, my distance there is going to be really short between those two cars. It's not going to allow for much. So, and look, there's no need. It's a red light, right? You're better off waiting for cars to start moving. You'll find it's easier to filter and find gaps and keep distance once they're moving. Watch this. See, this gap was no good, but now traffic starts to move and it starts to get better at some point. There you go. Here it's starting to get better. Now it's getting tight for everyone. Distance is narrowing. My point there is there's no need to rush or feel like you're going to be stuck and you need to get to the front or something. Which is good if you can get to the front, but no stressing. If you've got a space, keep that space until you can find another space. So that car there is making a space for me. Right now they're squeezing up and I'm going to lose the space again. That happens. Well, who's to stop me going this way? I know technically, probably not supposed to, but you know, technically I have got a lane here because they're all merging. Now there's a truck there, there's not much distance in front of him, so I'm not going to fight a truck. That's no good. And there you go, good distance between stuff. So yeah, I hope that helps. Second rule, distance. And you know, when you're riding, these things should be in your mind. Speed, distance, speed, distance. If they're not, you need to put them there. And that's what happened to me. I actually got complacent and I started forgetting about distance. And I thought, I should probably do some videos on my rules and remind myself, because I could see, you know, you should have a danger meter on you somewhere, you know, in your space. And I could see my danger meter in my mental space. The danger meter was getting higher. And I thought, alright, as your danger meter gets higher, the more risk of something happening. So I thought, alright, let's bring the danger meter down again. Let's go over the rules. Because I tell you, if you apply these rules, speed, distance, rule number 2, and you keep doing it, your danger meter will come right down. And you should feel safe on the road. You shouldn't be having any accidents on the road. And you can keep riding for infinity, forever and ever, until death we do part. Not from a crash though. We not be parting from a crash. Now, so this truck is kind of moving over left. Oh, he's keeping his distance from the cars. So even the truck is applying the rule. He's not getting too close to cars because he's a big truck. But he's also giving me a bit of space to go past him, I think. Doesn't matter much anyway. Red light. So now red light. Oh, look at all this distance I got here. And it's pretty squashy in there. Not much distance at all. So I'll just keep a nice distance here in the middle. Nice and open. Oop, the light's gone green. We know what that means. Traffic starts moving. And the traffic will start to generate some gaps. You see, there's a gap here. But then it's closing. The truck's giving me a gap. You see? And now it's closing. Anyway, no rush. It's pretty tight around these parts. Here's the gap, and I can see the other end, so I'm just going to go boop to the other end. See? I got through. Keeping my distance. This truck's going to move in this way. I better keep my distance from that truck because he's trying to squeeze into the left lane. You see? Distance. If you're keeping your distance, even though he's moving towards you, you're going to move away from him because you're maintaining the distance rule. So if something moves towards me, I'm moving away from it naturally, you see. I'm not just staying on one spot in the road. Like these cars, I'm going between a good space between the cars and the barrier, a good even distance. Here's another slow area. Keeping my distance from the cars on the left, but now as I slow down I can look for gaps. And now look for some... oh, here's heaps of distance. Look at all the gap down here that this motorbike in front of you is creating. But then it's narrowing, and then when it narrows, you just better to go... wait for the light. I've got panniers too. He hasn't got panniers, so if you haven't got panniers, it can be easier. And I've got my bike on higher suspension, so I guess, you know, when you're applying the distance, you're also applying it just like speed, relative to your ability and what you can do. You know, if I was on a lower bike and without panniers, I could probably squeeze through the with no worries. If I was on like on an XR, I could probably squeeze through that. I'd probably paddle it through because there's not much distance, so my speed would have to be super low, and I'd have to paddle with my feet, you see. But now I've got all this space. Once you've got a space, claim it. Claim the space and use it. Make it yours. Someone didn't like me using their space. A paranoid car, I guess. No need for cars to get paranoid. They're not going to go anywhere. I can't be stealing their space because I'm out of it pretty quick. So they need to worry about their own space. I've got plenty of space to get out and about and move around. Look at all this space. Keeping a good distance. Now it's narrowing here. Got to watch for cars drawing on me. Heaps of distance around here. Well, look at all this distance. Good distance. Now he's closing in that side. I'll have to go in this side. Keep my distance. There you go. I hope that helps. So remember, rule number 2, distance. Depending on your skill, depending on what's around you, keep distance. There you go.